Hi everyone. This is going to be a short video that guides you through how to install SPSS onto your computer, and then it's going to go through the SPSS instruction number 1 and cover the first 4 chapters of SPSS exercises. Hopefully you can use this in conjunction with the worksheet, the instruction sheet, and it can help you kind of see things more visually as I go through them. So the first thing is you want to install SPSS, and if you go to tasks for part 1 on the course website and you scroll down to number 8, you can see here it says download SPSS, and you click on this link and it takes you to the IT website, and this is for students only, so I can't guide you through the full thing because it won't let me download it as a faculty member, but you would click here and it would have you log in as a student and get your licensing number. And after you get your license number, then you would download SPSS onto your computer, install it, and then use the license number that you get here. And if you look here, it says that you get 1 license for your use on your computer, and you can install it up onto 2 computers. And then this would expire by next year, which is fine because you only need it for this course. So you would do that, and once you install it, it's going to install, I think, a few forms of SPSS software. And the one you want to use, which I'll pull up here, is SPSS Statistics. So let's wait for it to load. So it's this app right here, SPSS Statistics. There's other ones like Python and different programs that might install into your computer, but you just want to open up SPSS Statistics, and we're going to let that load. Now, the next thing you want to do is on the course website, if you scroll down to this SPSS folder, you'll see 3 folders. One is the SPSS data files, one are the code books, and then one is instructions and worksheets. So the instructions and worksheets you can click on and look through. The data files are, if you click on it, is the GSS data A and B that we'll be working with in this class. Sorry, that stuff's loading in the background. But here I describe this a little bit on the worksheet or the instruction sheet, and it's also talked about in the book if you want to get to know more about the GSS data. So download both and put it in a folder that is easily accessible on your computer, because you're going to want to be able to access it when you open up SPSS. And then this code book, this is the code book for dataset A and B. And these code books just guide you through. We'll like click on one here and let it open up. These just guide you through all the variables. So they tell you the variable names, and you may not necessarily need this, but it gives you the question that was asked for each variable and all the different frequencies for it. But a lot of this we can just get through SPSS, but I put it there in case you want to look through it. Okay, so once you've opened SPSS, you want to open the data file. So you want to go to open a file here, and then here you would go to wherever your folder is, where you downloaded the data sets from the website. And here we want to open up dataset A. So we've downloaded this onto our computer, and now we're opening it onto SPSS. You click open. Let me make this a little bit smaller so you can see it. So this is the data editor or viewer. So this is the data view down here, you can see. And this is all the data. So the numbers on the left here are all the respondents. So you can see there were, let's scroll all the way to the bottom, there was 1,500 people. And so each number represents a person. There's no names because it's confidential. So each number represents a person. And then up at the top here are all the variables. This kind of looks like an Excel spreadsheet. You can kind of think of it like an Excel spreadsheet where the left column is all of the respondents, and then, or all the numbers you see in Excel, and then at the top are each of the different variables, and they put input data for each one, and each of these numbers means something, right? Now, if you click on variable view, these are all the variables. So here you see the names of the variables. And then if you're wondering, for example, what each one of these means, you can expand this labels column and you can see, condition of health, general happiness, the highest degree, number of children. You can kind of begin to see what each variable means. And then here it shows you what type of variable it is. So is it nominal? Scale would be interval ratio. And it doesn't say ordinal, but I believe, let's see, I think for ordinals it just says nominal, and then you can kind of see the scale once you look at the variable. So that's how you open a data set and install SPSS and open a data set. So the next thing we're going to do is look at how to open and create frequency tables. So you want to go up to Analyze, go to Descriptive Statistics, and then you go to Frequencies. And then this menu will open up. And let's say we're interested in gender. We want to look at the gender breakdown. So we find respondent sex, double click, and it goes into this folder. These are the variables we'll be analyzing. And then you just, here it says display frequency tables, it's checked. So all we have to do is click OK. And now this output, see up here it says output. This is our output window. It's different than our variable window or our data window. So this one pops open and here we see our frequency table. So it's just like the ones that we talked about in the book or in lecture. The first column is the frequency or the count. So there's 1,500 people in the sample. That's our N, our sample size. Then 828 said they were female and 672 said they were male. This is the percent, and this is valid percent. So I mentioned this in the instructions. The valid percent is the one you want to use in SPSS because it doesn't include any missing data. So missing data in data sets is when people either don't respond or there's some kind of coding error, and we don't have this information for a certain number of people. So it's called missing data. The valid percent doesn't include missing data, and so this is the one we want to use. And then here you see the cumulative percent. This is again more useful when you have ordinal variables that are ranked, but here you can see that it just gives it to you, it's there. So we know that 44.8% of the respondents are male and then 55.2% are female. Now if you want to copy this and paste it into your Word file, you just left click. Oops, left clicked again. Yes, you want this copy special. Sometimes when you hit copy it doesn't work, so try copy special. I usually, for Word on my Mac, the rich text is the one that works the best. If that doesn't work with yours, you can play around to see which one of these pastes the best in your particular word processor. And this is helpful for when you're working on your paper at the end of the semester and you need to show frequency tables or graphs and things like that. You can do that like that. So that's how we make frequency tables. Now, let us look into making graphs. Let's say we want to graph respondents' sex. So we go back to the same menu, so Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies. And now we want to click on here. It says Charts. So here we can see you can make a bar chart, a pie chart, or a histogram. So a histogram wouldn't make, oops, sorry about that. A histogram wouldn't make a lot of sense because of, it's not an interval ratio variable. So what we want to do is we want to, for this one, look at a bar chart, right? Because a bar chart makes the most sense for nominal and ordinal variables and helps us compare. And then down here, we can see the chart values. So you can do it by frequencies, so the bars can represent frequencies or percentages. So we want to hit percentages, 'cause I like to use percentages, it's a better way of comparing. You can click Continue. Now I unclick Display Frequency Table because we already have the frequency table, and I hit OK. And we wait. and here is our bar chart. Now you see the column for male, the column for female, and you can edit this chart however you want. You can left click and say edit content and it'll pop up in a separate window. You can see here. And then you can edit this however you want. You can add, I like to add data labels sometimes. So down here, say show data labels, and you can see it shows you. And you can just edit different things if you want to edit the color or the columns in any way. But for the most part, what SPSS gives you would be fine for this class. So that's how you make charts and graphs. And then again, you can always left click and copy and paste it into your Word file. Now let's say we want to make a histogram, right? So histogram, if you remember, we use it for interval ratio variables. So here we would go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies, and we don't want to do sex. Let's try to look for an interval ratio variable. These little rulers tell us they're interval ratio variables. So let's try, we can find an easy one. Let's try to do age. We want to look at the spread of age. Here's age. So we go to Statistics. Oops, sorry, not Statistics, Charts. And here we pick histogram. And then make sure that we don't need the frequency table, and we hit OK. So here's a histogram for age. And so we can see the spread here. We can see that most of the respondents are in this area, which is between the age of about 25 until about 65. You can see there's less people that are over the age of 80, and just a few people under the age of 20. And so we can see here it actually gives us the mean too and the standard deviation when you do a histogram. So that's how you do graphs and histograms in SPSS.